Hi there everyone, welcome back to Infinity Drones. I know it's been quite a while since I posted the video, it's just been super busy. But today I've got some exciting news. I'm very happy to tell you guys that you guys can see that there's a new firmware version out for the DJI Goggles 2 firmware, which now finally brings through compatibility for the DJI FPV drone with the Goggles 2. So now the Goggles 2 effectively supports everything. So if you've got a pair of Goggles 2 or Integra, then now you can upgrade the firmware and you can now use everything on that. So if you maybe bought the DJI Avata ProView combo with your DJI FPV drone, now you can just fly everything with one pair of goggles, which is great. Now the other thing as well is if you had a DJI FPV drone and you still have the Goggles V2, that's perfectly fine. Everything's still working fine, the Avata still works with it, everything's nice, but this is now just for the guys owning the Avata or the the ProView combo or the Goggles 2 or Integra, because a lot of guys are now purchasing the Goggles 2 or the Integra to fly with their Mini 3s or their Mavic 3s, and they might want to get into the FPV world as well. And I still think the DJI FPV drone is a fantastic starter place for someone coming from a Mavic, because you are already flying outdoors and you're not flying proximity. So the DJI FPV drone I think still has a good place, but now the advantage is you can get this and maybe an Avata, and really for most guys that are getting into the hobby and you're coming from a Mavic used to spending a bit more money, then the DJI FPV drone and the Avata is an absolute great choice to start. You get all the fail-safe items, battery management, all of that kind of stuff you still get from DJI, which still makes a great product. So now you guys can see that we have our goggle firmware and now it supports the DJI FPV drone, and you also have the new firmware on the drone itself, where you guys can see it now supports the Goggles Integra and the Goggles 2 as well. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see that the last update was in 2022 and it really didn't add much. It was just nothing much. So it's great to see DJI actually offer some compatibility or upgrades for items that hasn't happened in quite a while. So kudos to DJI, and yeah, I'm very happy to see that their product support is carrying on a bit longer. It means the DJI FPV drone is not really end of life. It can probably continue for a little bit longer as well, which is great. Now remember, if you update the firmware and you do have any mods on your drone like the Dronehacks application, then you are going to lose that. And currently I have not tested to see if the Dronehacks application remains, so you don't, maybe you can't load the mod again. So unfortunately, if you are on the Dronehacks application and you do have a pair of Goggles V2s or Goggles 2s and you want to upgrade the DJI firmware, then you are going to lose the Dronehacks mod on your DJI FPV drone. But in any case, a lot of guys just want to fly the DJI FPV drone with their Avata and not worry about all of that. So all you need to do, for instance, is jump over to the DJI Download Center. Simply just type in DJI Download Center into Google. And once you've opened it, you're going to see that there is a section on the left side called software, and you're going to go to the DJI Assistant series. Now you can see that's very confusing. There's quite a lot of them down there. The DJI FPV drone uses the DJI FPV series option, and you can see there are the products that it supports over there, DJI FPV system. And then you can also go over to the DJI consumer drones one. If you scroll down over there, you're going to see that it actually supports quite a lot of drones over there, and as you can see, actually now it also supports the DJI FPV drone. So in this case, I am just going to use the DJI Assistant 2 for consumer drones, and let's see if it supports everything that it's supposed to. So simply just download and install that, and I'm just going to open it because I've already downloaded and installed it on my machine. So you just either Mac or PC, and you can carry on like that. So I'm just going to quickly open up the DJI Assistant on my side. DJI Assistant, there we go. Just drag it over. Okay, so you can see DJI Assistant for consumer drones is now there. I'm just going to quickly power on my drone. Just give it a second. Where's my measure button? There we go. And that magical DJI sound is going to pop up pretty soon. Just give it a second. There we go. Still enjoy that sound, my goodness. Okay, and we're just going to wait for the computer to detect it. I can already hear the USB sounds pinging in the background, and DJI Assistant for Consumer Drones has now detected my DJI FPV drone. As simple as that. no real thing to do. I never update my no-fly zone, so just skip that. That fly safe databases, just ignore that. And now you can see there is my current version that I'm on, and I would like to move up to the latest version. So if I click on the release notes, last time it just added some basic support over there, which was useless. And the previous one, which is the one we don't really want to go to, was also just a silly update because it locked out the Dronehacks application. So the last two upgrades really was just to prevent the Dronehacks application from working. But now for the first time, we actually get firmware that people might want to upgrade to. Bear in mind that you will lose your Dronehacks version if you're on this. Okay, so just bear in mind that you will lose that. In any case, I'm going to upgrade this. So you can see, just start the update. And that's it, guys. You just let it run through. So for those of you guys that are hearing Dronehacks for the first time, Dronehacks is software that you can use. You purchase a license for 40 euros, and then you can then remove the limits on your DJI drones. Okay, so you can remove the no-fly zones, the altitude limits, as well as include or enable FCC mode for those of you guys living outside of the US. So getting much better range and penetration there as well. So me personally, I'm a big fan of Dronehacks. I use it on almost all of my drones, purely because if I have better signal, because I'm not in the US, then at least I have a much safer environment to operate with as well. Okay, so in any case, back to the DJI FPV drone. As you can see, it's now just running through the update. I'm going to let it run through the process, and if you guys have any questions, whatever, please leave it in the comments below. I really do appreciate the feedback that I get. It really helps out me make better videos and stuff like that. And also, I am going to have some affiliate links down below, so if you guys click on those and maybe click on the subscribe button and like button as well, it would really help out the channel quite a lot. I'm the only guy doing this, so all the support I can get will really help me carry on and make some more content for you guys. In any case, you guys can see that we are now on to 80%, so hopefully the update's not going to take too much longer, and then we can get the goggles updated as well. So the advantage, once again, is that the Goggles 2 and the Integra and the DJI FPV drone and the Avata, everything uses the same software. So just navigate to the DJI system. You can see, there we go, it's already updating. So as you can see, the drone's already doing its thing. We're just going to let it go through its process so it can complete. So when it gets to 84%, you're going to see it sit there for a bit longer. This is where the restart processes happen all the time. Okay, but in any case, now you guys can see that the Goggles 2 will also need to be updated. There is all of the other items. If you are worried about the ham file or stuff like that not working, that is still going to continue working. So don't worry about that. We can still put the ham file, well, the ham file's on the SD card on the DJI Goggles. So we're still going to be in FCC mode, and all of that is still going to work. Remember, once again, if you've updated this, then your DJI FPV drone, if it had the Dronehacks mod on it, would have been lost, meaning that your range, your altitude limits, as well as your no-fly zones would all be back to stock. Okay, just going through the last bit of updates. For me personally, I would probably say if someone goes out right now and purchases the Avata ProView combo, because everyone wants the smaller goggles and remote ID and stuff like that. People don't want remote ID, but it is what it is. There goes again. But now you've got the ability to just go buy the ProView combo, and then on DJI site or maybe secondhand somewhere around, you can get this baby, and then you will have a nice long range cruiser as well as a nice proximity drone as well. And the 4K quality on this is pretty decent for a hobbyist. Obviously not professional, but a lot of guys are printing a little helmet and they're putting a GoPro on top of the DJI FPV drone. As you can see, the update is now complete, so I can just click back, and now my drone is done. I can turn it off, everything's good. As you can see, I can't downgrade to a previous version anymore, so you can see clearly DJI has increased the anti-rollback firmware. So please bear in mind, once you've updated the firmware, you cannot go back to an older firmware version. So just keep that in mind. In any case, I'm just going to power this off. Okay, so that cable is now out. Let me get my goggles, plug the cable in there, and let's power this up. Okay, so there goes my goggles. I know it's powering up because I can hear the USB in the background going all the way through, and the goggles have now powered on. As you can see, my goggles pops up. I still have the ham file on my SD card, so my power output on my Avata is still going to be there, so it's all good. So let me just quickly go to my Goggles 2. And you can see that I'm now going to jump from my version over to the latest version, and you can see it says added support for the DJI FPV drone. So incidentally, this also updates another little bug that the Goggles 2 had. Now you will be able to upgrade. If you've updated the firmware, I'm doing it now, you are going to have auto record back on your DJI Vista and Air units. This is something that guys have been talking to in the community on some forums as well, is that if you update the latest version of the goggles, then your Vista will have the auto record function as well as your old DJI Air unit. But unfortunately, the onboard recording of your Air unit still does not work if you've updated the firmware. Not really a big loss, because a lot of guys really didn't use that. So in my opinion is the Air unit has greater reception because of the dual antenna on the back, but it doesn't really have much more advantage than the Vista does. So just run through the Goggles update, then we will have auto record back on our DJI Vistas and Air units, and that is great because I always forget to keep pressing the record button when I take off. So this is perfect just to get some DVR, especially if you crash somewhere, then at least you know where you crashed. Anyway, let the Goggles run through its process, and once again, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Once again, if you guys support the channel, please click on the affiliate links below, click the like button, click the subscribe button. It really does help out the channel, as I really do want to see if I can get to 10k users this year. So I really appreciate your support. If you guys once again have any feedback, stuff like that I haven't covered, please send it through to me. You can also go to my community page on my YouTube homepage, and you guys can follow me there as well and just see what new updates are coming and what am I working on. Okay, so almost done, guys. We're just going to run through the last little bit of the update. Luckily, the Goggles update is not very big. This is luckily not a huge video or a long video to watch, but I see it's already over 12 minutes, so hopefully we can go through the whole process and cover everything just quickly one more time once everything's done. The advantage, once again, guys, is your DJI Goggles 2 and your Integra now supports the DJI FPV drone. So for all of your Avata guys out there that want to get into a bit more long range or cruising FPV style, the DJI FPV drone really does help you out there a lot. I think this is the perfect little mountain surfer or cruiser, because your range, your fail safes, everything is still really good on this. And then obviously your Avata, only being a 3-inch, you can still fly nice proximity, but it doesn't handle the wind as good as this boykie would. Okay, so as you can see, the firmware update is now complete. Everything is now done. And if I go into my DJI, I'll just turn on my drone over here. And now you can unplug the cable. You can see the recording is now done. Just let it go all its way through. Just powering on the goggles. Okay, so currently you guys can't see what I'm seeing in the goggles, but in the goggles menu itself, I'm going to show you guys a bit later as soon as I've connected to the DJI FPV drone. But at the moment, what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly change the goggles over to the DJI FPV mode so that we can switch to the DJI FPV drone and see what's going on over there. Okay, just quickly want to show you guys again. So the DJI FPV drone is now turned on. The Goggles 2 is also turned on, and I've just gone to the Goggles 2 menu and switched over to the DJI FPV drone. And I'll show you guys that shortly in the Goggles view as soon as I get video from the drone. But once the drone has now been turned on, you can just hold the power button in on the rear. You can see the light starting to flash like that. And then in your DJI goggles, you're going to press the bind button, and you can hear that it's now bound. And you can just see in the goggles that it's going to ask you to do a propeller check for the DJI FPV drone. I'm just going to say okay, and let me just turn the drone around quickly. Okay, so as you guys can see on the screen, let me just do the recording. There we go. Now that I've got video, I can do the recording. You guys can see that the goggle view has now got the DJI FPV details over there. You can see the megabits per second, which is quite nice because you couldn't really use, you couldn't see that. This is basically the same as you could in the Avata. And now if I swipe out, you go to status, I can go to the switch tab. You can see the errors over there because obviously I'm indoors and I haven't linked my controller, so don't worry about that. You can go to switch, and you're going to see there's the DJI FPV Drone, the Mavic 3 Pro, the Mavic 3 Classic, Mavic 3, Mini 3, DJI Air unit, FPV unit, and there is the Avata. Now remember guys, the DJI FPV Air unit and the DJI Vista is the same thing according to the goggles. Okay, so when you go through all of these different units over here, just know that when you go to the DJI FPV Air unit side, that is the same as the Vista side as well. You can see there are all of the options available, and I'm very happy to say that DJI has now gone all the way through and we've got compatibility for the DJI FPV as well. So this means essentially the Goggles 2, this now supports all of the DJI FPV products as well as the Mavic 3 series and the Mini 3 Pro. So the Goggles 2 and the Integra really is now goodbye. The only sad thing is that we lose the Dronehacks mod on the DJI FPV drone, purely because this is a great mountain surfer, and if you can go over 500 meters, then it really improves the usability of this machine quite a bit. Anyways guys, if you have any questions, once again, please leave it in the comments below. I really want to hear your feedback, and yeah, please click that like button, subscribe button, and make this channel grow. I really appreciate that. Okay guys, see you guys in the next one.